What is up, Waffle Gang? I hope you're really well today. My name is Mark and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below, but if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, subscribe and maybe that notification bell too. Now today I was looking at the subreddit and it's a bit flat in some areas, so I thought we'd cover stories that we didn't throughout the month, some of the bigger stories that we may have missed. So we're going to go over them and to see what we can find. Now just a pre-warning on this one, first story involves a child being terminally ill, so I just wanted to give you guys a warning just in case you fancy skipping this one. Thank you. Now this story was from Last Kid. Am I the arsehole for telling my parents they only have one daughter and she is 6 feet in the ground? This all started when I was 12 years old and my younger sister was 10. Let's call her Abby. Well, Abby started to get sick and no one in the family knew what was going on. I started to be dropped off at my grandparents as they went to different doctors. I'm not going to go into her illness, but when the doctors figured it out, it was bad, so a lot of time was devoted to my sister. When I was 14, it got worse and I started to be left at my grandparents for longer amounts of time. It started with just staying the weekend and then maybe the whole week. I would bring it up and they told me that they have to focus on Abby. Soon I was staying there for months. By the time I was 16, I was basically living there full time. I'd maybe see them every other month. If I text them about the whole thing, the same response was always sent. We need to focus on Abby right now. I'm 19 now and Abby has passed away from her illness. Her funeral was 2 weeks ago and I attended through FaceTime. I got a call today from my parents and they wanted to meet up and be a family again. I told them that they abandoned one child for another. I'm not their child anymore. That they only have one daughter and she is 6 feet under the ground now. I soon hung up. I've been getting texts calling me an arse and I should understand that they need to focus on Abby and to suck it up basically. So am I the arsehole? Redoubtable Self says, not the arsehole. Was it harsh? Yes. Was it deserved? Also yes. While I can sympathise with dealing with a terminally ill child, they had another child that needed their love and attention too. A child that was losing her little sister, probably scared and lonely and then fucking abandoned for 7 years. Yes, Abby needed them, but you did too, and they failed you miserably and they failed Abby too, who might have enjoyed a relationship with her sister in the few years she had to live. Damn man, and that puts it into more perspective, doesn't it? That they could have seen their sister through this and they could have still had some relationship and spent that last amount of time together. Wow. And GAR Toad says, not the arsehole. As a parent who had a terminally ill child, I made sure that my other kids still knew that I loved them and even organised people to sit with my child in hospital while I spent quality time with my other kids. It's hard being a parent knowing that your child is going to die, but you don't ever push away your other kids. I'm so sorry that you were abandoned by your parents and I'm sending you huge hugs and love right now. You have every right to be angry at them and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise, as none of them were in your shoes. Take time to grieve for your sister and your lost relationship, and most importantly, be kind to yourself. You do matter. And Consistent Leopard 71 says, not the arsehole. While having a seriously ill child is challenging and will often take priority, it doesn't give your parents license to simply send their child away and stop parenting them. They abandon you, and now that your sister has passed away, they want to rug sweep their behaviour and play happy family. It's completely understandable that you do not want to have a relationship with them. Therapy may be beneficial for you to process losing your entire immediate family. They need to respect your boundaries. Sorry for your loss and good luck. And Honeycomb B Nick says, not the arsehole. A terminally ill child is horrific for a parent to have to deal with, but it doesn't give them a free pass to abandon you. For them to expect you to be willing to go back to them now that it's convenient for them shows just how easily they dismiss how much they hurt you. You were harsh, absolutely, but they needed to hear it. I'm so sorry for both the loss of your sister and everything your family put you through. I hope you can find a way to heal. And Umata says, everyone sucks here, not for the sentiment, but for putting it that way. You're totally cool with not wanting a relationship with them. They abandoned you, but they're grieving. You didn't need to mention their newly dead daughter to them. You're better than that, or you should be. I do get that you're feeling a mix of emotions right now, including abandonment and your own grief as well. So it's an understandable arseholeness, but I'd set the bar higher in my reactions because that's who I'd want to be. Now, I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of the situation and how is there a way of dealing with it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And our next story comes from It's Britney Bitches. Am I the arsehole for cutting my hair after a friend's death, despite a contract that dictates what I'm allowed to do or not to do with my hair? I've lost my job and have been ostracized by my family, so I figured I'd come to the court of public opinion. One of my best friends over 10 years lost her battle with the big C word on Christmas. Fuck cancer, y'all. I'm not handling it well, to be honest, and I feel like a crazy person. I literally haven't stopped crying. Through all the tumultuous emotions, I decided that I wanted to cut my hair. I don't know why, but I felt like I wanted to get rid of the psychological weight and my hair was suffocating me. I model and I've been doing it pretty much my whole life. My family is upper middle class due to my income. My parents work as my managers, even though I had actual hired experienced managers throughout the years. My dad works part-time elsewhere, but I'm the main breadwinner in the family. Part of my current contract was that I can't cut my hair without prior consent from managing parties, or else my contract would be rendered void. It really wasn't an issue until now. For a week, I tried to get consent, but nobody wanted to give it. So over the weekend, I locked myself in my bathroom and chopped off almost all my hair. I didn't go as extreme as 2007 Britney, but I was definitely channeling her energy. Now I look like Steve from Stranger Things. I don't feel a lot better, but it was kind of cathartic. I'm glad I did it. My life changed and I physically reflect that now. Now I'm unemployed though, because I was released from my contract, and as soon as I'm done with high school, my family wants me gone. I know that I jeopardized my family's financial security, and my parents are scrambling to figure out how to pay bills because I may have been an immature arsehole. But I don't know, maybe it's grief, but I feel pretty apathetic about it. I wanted to grieve in my own way. Am I the arsehole for that? And then there was an update which we're going to cover straight away, so update 6:35 PM. So I talked to a few folks today and I was sent a copy of the email exchanges that ultimately ended my contract. My contract was set to expire in June, but I wasn't booking until May to give myself time to finish up my last semester in high school. Instead of terminating my contract or firing me, I was released from my contract in a really nice way. I won't copy and paste, but the gist is, here at company we value the health and safety of all our employees, and it seems that Britney is going through a hard time. Let's release her from her responsibility so she can enjoy school, and should she decide to come back after high school or freshman year of college, she'd be welcomed back into the agency. They even sent a PDF of therapists or counsellors that I might want to talk to. I talked to my old manager and she set me up in contact with a lawyer and already has access to copies of my documents, which she sent to me in PDF too. I also contacted Jasmine's mum, who said that I can move in to finish if I'm kicked out in March. I'm not going to say much, but what my parents were doing was definitely illegal unless I have trust, which I doubt because my parents both have nice new cars and stuff. I emailed my school guidance counsellor. I have a new email contact and I'll be sent my financial records ASAP. So yeah, posting this morning, I honestly felt an ungrateful whiny teen who fucked over her family, but you guys made me realise that my life is definitely not normal or fair, and I thank you all for that, and for the immeasurably kind words you've all given me. I'll keep fighting. Now, as you can probably gather from that update, there was loads of helpful information below, mainly talking about lawyers and contracts and stuff like that, and just suggesting that OP gets some sort of legal help and their life isn't currently normal and they're probably being abused in some way. So I'm just going to leave that there because we've already got the update, we already know what the comments said, and we'll move straight on to the next story. And our next story comes from a deleted user. Am I the arsehole for not telling my family which of my children is biologically mine? I have two kids, Clark and Kent. While they have the same father, only one of them is biologically my child. They were born within 6 months of each other. The boys are currently 6 and for various reasons I have full custody of both of them. I didn't speak to anyone in my family for several years and we got back in touch in 2019. Due to the boys' ages, my family know I couldn't have carried both, unless I have the gestation period of a hamster or the longest labour ever. I have explained to them how this all came to be, but in my explanation I neglected to tell them which was my biological child. Due to my ex having a type, the other woman looked enough like me that the boys could pass for twins. Same dark hair, blue eyes, pale skin, and both cleft chins and dimples. My brother jokes that they look like tiny supermen. People who offer them refer to them as twins because aside from a few minor differences, they're practically identical. Frankly, if they were closer in age and I'd had full custody of them from the time they were born, I suspect I would have mixed them up a lot as babies. Shortly before Clark's birthday last year, my mum asked if she could see Clark's birth certificate. I asked why and she said she wanted to know the exact time he was born, so I told her. She asked if she could see the certificate anyway. I asked why. She said she just wanted to check. I said I'm his mother. I know when he was born. Then she asked the same thing about Kent and we went through the same conversation all over again. Mum eventually admitted that she just wanted to see the birth mother's name on each certificate, which isn't even how that works, and I told her as much. This led to an argument where my stance was that I'm their mother, biology is irrelevant. Mum says if biology is irrelevant then it's not a big deal to tell her which of them is biologically mine. I said if she's so hung up on biology then clearly it's a big deal to her and I don't want it to be a big deal, especially as the boys themselves don't know. Mum feels this is incredibly selfish, narcissistic and overall wrong. She feels that if biology isn't such a big issue, then I should have no problem telling her whether Clark or Kent is my biological son, and that accusing her of potential favoritism or something similar with her bio-grandchildren is an unfair judgment with no actual reasoning to it. My boyfriend agrees that I shouldn't tell anyone at least until my sons have decided for themselves if they want to know and want other people to know, but my entire family agree with Mum that I'm being unreasonably selfish and that my actions are now more likely to cause issues than Mum's potential actions later. Am I in the wrong? And Wind River says, not the arsehole, if she ever finds out your mother will favour the biological grandchild, otherwise it wouldn't matter to her who was on the birth certificate. And Gems4 says, not the arsehole, totally and completely. You know she's going to make a big deal out of it the way she has pestered you and getting the family to be her flying monkeys. There it is again. I sincerely hope you have their birth certificates locked up tight in a safe or safety deposit box so she cannot say she accidentally came across it. Would she resort to contacting your ex? Would he tell her? If you're cordial with him, or at least if he's a little bit reasonable, would it be an idea to give him a heads up that your mum is pushing hard to know which boy is yours biologically and you don't want her to know? And Angel Islington says, so not the arsehole. You are Clark and Kent, great aliases by the way, mother. You love them equally. They are your sons no matter the circumstances. You're an awesome mum. And who cares about biology? When to quote great philosophers John, Paul, George and Ringo, all you need is love. You love your boys and it's all they need, so tell your mum to mind her own business. Now I turn this one to you guys. What would you do in this situation? If your mother was pestering like this, how would you deal with it? Let me know in the comments below. And the next story is from Your Mummy. Am I the arsehole for embarrassing my influencer friend by intentionally letting her post a meme that made her look stupid? I feel kind of bad, but I have a friend who thinks of herself as a highly popular mum influencer. She's in her 40s, she had a bit of a habit taking other people's posts, memes, etc. and reposting them as her own. She even steals personal heartfelt words from other bloggers and Instagrammers about their struggles with body image, depression, etc. and slightly changes them to repost as her own. She's grown a decent following from this and gets sponsored by brands for her, keeping it real. Honestly, I'll admit part of me is lightly jealous, so I'll own that, but mostly I just think it's gross that she is lying and making up a whole personality that has people thinking she's something she's not. Anyway, there's this challenge going around on social media called the Hidden Cat Challenge, and I thought it would be funny to send her a photo of Monica's apartment from Friends and say, bet you can't find the cat in this photo. I figured she'd recognise it and laugh, but within a few minutes she had posted it all over her social media telling people it was her latest Airbnb and making up an elaborate backstory about random cat that lived there and challenging people to find it. I messaged her asking why she would lie, and she just said that she needed content and no one would ever know. So I just kept my mouth shut and sat back to see what would happen. Obviously people immediately began calling her out and she tried to defend herself, but it was long before she took it down and had to turn off comments on all her social accounts. She's now telling me I'm an arsehole for letting her post it and I may have cost her sponsors and taken food out of her kids' mouths. Am I the arsehole? And the edit says, just to clarify, I had no idea she was going to post it. The whole point was that the photo didn't even have a cat in it, it was a joke. She posted it with a whole fake story and tried to make people find the non-existent cat in the photo, which added hugely to her embarrassment. After she got mad, I even tried to help by suggesting she simply tell people she accidentally posted the wrong photos, or even say it was a joke, but she locked down her profiles, which obviously made her look bad. None of our friends blame me, but she's seriously upset and is refusing to speak to me. I never intended to make her look bad, but since she brushed me off when I first called her out, I figured I'd just let it play out. I guess that's why she thinks I'm the arsehole. Damn, how can she not recognise a friend's apartment? Now, I'm going to get hate for this, but I'm not a big Friends fan. But I can still recognise every single apartment. But you never forced her to post this stuff. She made the choice and she made up the backstory to go with it. So yes, she's the arsehole in the situation, not you. You didn't have to stop her at all. It was down to her in the end. But Type 1 Error says, oh my god, that is hilarious. Encourage her to reopen her account and post inspirational quotes on making a comeback by her therapist, Dr. Fraser Crane. Not the arsehole. Pretentious username 1 says, not the arsehole in any way. Lying has consequences. She outed herself. You even pointed out the mistake in posting it. And DSZ says, I think she's an arsehole for not recognising Monica's apartment mostly. I didn't even watch the show and I know those damn purple walls. Not the arsehole. And Witchy123 says, you didn't make her post anything. You sent her an image you thought she would enjoy and she took the time to fabricate a bad lie. Not the arsehole. Now, what do you guys think of this situation? I love a ridiculous one once in a while. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And our next story is from Kim XXX. Am I the arsehole for kicking my son and his wife out after they took my daughter's room? I'm a single mum of 2, Dale 22 and Kim 15. My late husband passed away when Kim was 10. It was too much because it was hard being a single mum. Everyone in my life has never stood by me. Where I'm from, society tends to be harsh on single mums. I always felt much stress with all the responsibilities and everyone expected me to give up. There was many times when I felt like a failure and never wanted to be seen as a failure in my children's eyes. I wanted them to look up to me, learn from my experiences, and learn to stand by themselves and be strong. Kim is the apple of my eye. She went through so much. I tend to be overprotective of her, as they say. I was with someone, a police officer, who was nice to me, but once I noticed how poorly he treated Kim, I told him to leave immediately. I decided to focus on Kim. Dale and his wife are expecting. He's been unemployed for months, and they left their rental apartment and moved in with us temporarily. However, his wife started disrespecting Kim's privacy, walking into her room constantly, taking her things and ruining them. They brought boxes of baby stuff and stored them in Kim's room. I told her to move the boxes to storage room, but Dale made excuses that the stuff might get damaged. Dale and his wife talked about staying a few more months. She's 8 months pregnant, till after the baby is a few months old. His wife suggested that my daughter move into my room and that they take her room and turn it into a nursery. I said no, it's not up for discussion. Dale understood, but his wife didn't like it. Kim came to me saying Dale's wife is trying to convince her to give her room to her nephew. I told Dale's wife firmly to stop annoying Kim. Yesterday I came home and found Dale moving Kim's stuff out of her room, replacing it with their baby stuff. Kim was in the living room waiting for me. She was crying and I was livid. Dale's wife made her a sandwich to calm her down. I saw Kim's room. Her bed was moved, her favourite posters, her closet and graphic art, some were put there by her dad. I confronted them. Dale said it was his wife's idea and told them she'll work it out with me later. I got into an argument with her. I lashed out at her after she said Kim can take the storage room. I told them to leave immediately. They argued for an hour then left. My mum and sister called me in the evening asking how I could kick out my own son and told me to let them move back in. I refused. Now they're calling me a bad mum, saying I'm playing favourites. Dale's wife talked about putting the nursery together and taking pictures of it to share on Facebook page for everyone to see. That's what Dale told me, which made me feel upset, to be honest. You know, it's one of those simple ones where they was overstepping boundaries in this situation and they deserve to be kicked out in the end. Why did they think they had the right to do that? It's absolutely crazy. And again, the family from the outside looking in and going, oh, you should just let them move back in. What you're doing is wrong. Well, if that's the case, you take them in. You take these people in and then see how they act around you. But Type 1 Error says Dale and his wife could easily have shared their room with a baby for a few months. You and your daughter were already making a great sacrifice sharing a home with a newborn. That wasn't good enough. They think that everybody should have to sacrifice for their child, but that is not how the world works. You have a responsibility to protect your daughter, make decisions in her best interest. That is what you did here. You are not the arsehole. You're a wonderful mother who was forced to make a painful decision to protect her child. Well done. And Amber Lauren 1084 says, not the arsehole. If your mum and your sister feel you were wrong, then maybe they can open up their home to Dale and his wife. What about wife's family? Maybe they can open their home up to them. You were and are protecting your child, Kim. And last, Wesker says, not the arsehole, full stop, no question. Your adult son and his wife bullied a teenage girl and completely disregarded your authority. You had far more patience with either of them than I likely would have, after the wife began intruding on Kim's privacy and trying to push her out of her room. Your son is an adult and so is his wife. They've had months to comfortably try and look for a new home and, for Dale, new work. Instead, they've been trying to take over and shirk their responsibilities as adults and soon to be parents. You cannot take them back in. That will never work out and will send the message to your daughter that you don't care about what they've been doing to her. As for your other family trying to berate you for this decision, tell them if they are so concerned about your son and his wife, they can take the two in and care for them plus baby. Otherwise, ignore them and focus on raising your daughter. Absolutely too true. Now, I turn this one to you guys. What would you do in this situation? How would you react? Let me know in the comments below. Now, once again, guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you did enjoy these catch-up stories. As I said, these are all stories from the past month that were in the top section that I just didn't get time to cover. Hopefully you haven't heard them before, but if you have, I'm very, very sorry. And we will cover new ones tomorrow. Thank you once again for being here, guys. If you do want to support the channel, you can do by clicking that join button down below or heading on over to Patreon and joining up there. Thank you so much for your time, support and love. It means the world to me, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love. Goodbye.